Alrighty, my loyal followers, 'twas less than a week before Christmas and all through my lair. Now Cinematic's soul was stirring. That was worth the completion of this fucking rhyme because of how dissatisfied I was in its taste of terror. The film, even a reaper such as I was unfortunate enough to come across this soul-slaying season, is a Christmas horror story. It's pretty much what it sounds like, but its more appropriate title should be called Christmas Horror Stories, plural. The anthology film focuses on four different stories that take place on Christmas Eve, with occasional breaks with the town's local radio host played by William Shatner. The four stories we bounce around include Santa Claus taking on an infected army of North Pole elves, and a few teenagers who break into their school to make a documentary about the deaths of two students which went unsolved, only to have their filmmaking experience turn upside down. The other two stories include a painfully unlikable man bringing his even more painfully unlikable family to see his aunt and eventually facing off against Krampus. The last story includes a couple taking their kid into the woods to get a real Christmas tree for their home, only to return to their home later and realize something wicked may have happened when they went tree hunting. Now, I'm usually a sucker for anthologies because I like it when my favorite stories are connected to one another, but unfortunately, the effort in this film seemed to be more on connecting these stories rather than writing the stories well and properly. The effects in the movie, like parts of the North Pole Factory, for instance, aren't really done well. Now, I usually don't care about how realistic CGI looks in films because I accept that it's an illusion anyway and I'd rather just have the effects be cool for my glowing red eyes to look at. But unfortunately for this film, the effects seem to be less designed for the movie and more like they were sickly vomited onto it. The CGI seems pretty sloppy, and it's unfortunate to say that it didn't look like a lot of effort was put into it. I also think my buddy Krampus was done wrong because, unlike the film from my last review, this Krampus just looks like a lazy pasted version of a written drawing of him. Also, it's Krampus. You should have fun with his design. Make him grand or super twisted looking. He literally looks like a blank, unfinished version of Krampus in this film, an unfinished version they just splat onto it. Putting the effects aside for a moment, I also think some of the plot lines involving the students and the family of three go really too far. Now, don't get me wrong, I crave disturbing, but the student documentary story took more of an upsetting and cruel turn of events that even I had trouble seeing through, to be honest. I also thought the story involving the family of three took too disturbing of a turn because of how it was designed to make viewers more uncomfortable than afraid, and you don't want that. You want to make sure your movies get people's anxiety jumping through the roof, rather than making them feel stiff and unsure what to feel while they're sitting watching your film. The characters also didn't seem to have anything about them that made them interesting to see or view. They really felt just like cardboard cutouts of characters we've seen time and time again, and with lazy writing attached to it. The movie does finish one of the plot lines well by having somewhat of a twist ending, but it kind of blurs the film even more because it brings the other plot lines into question in an odd way. It's unfortunate because I think it also lessens the cool twist done with the one storyline in particular that had a twist ending. So considering this movie was my last Christmas horror movie to finish off this month, and with how much I do not look forward to seeing it again, I'm going to rank this movie a 3, meaning I'm personally sending 3 ghosts of Christmas cinema to visit it this Christmas Eve. So that's my review of A Christmas Horror Story. Did you agree or disagree? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll get to them and any other horror movie recommendations when I can, as my dearly demonic family members are paying a visit to my evil lair this holiday season. I'm also taking a week off to embrace the true meaning of Christmas, bad blood. See you again in 2 weeks, my loyal followers. Merry Cryptic Christmas, Happy Haunted Holidays, and of course, have a terrifyingly terrific day.